Hello replayers, hello Facebookers. For those of you who don't know me, who may never watched my live streams before, I'm Gail and I'm an intuitive soul coach, and I work on helping people to connect to their inner child and release old wounds and clear the conditioning of the ego mind that has been taken on from our families, and then to help you basically connect to your true soul self, the soul self that you came here to, tune into and to be. And today I want to talk to you about, are you a catalyst? So many, if not all of the people who have come to work with me, I believe are catalysts. So what is a catalyst? So a catalyst to me is somebody who is kind of a bit different from the rest of their family. Or maybe they just feel like they're a bit different from the rest of their family. They will have taken on some of their family traits, because we all do. It's that kind of thing where you get to being an adult and you go, oh my God, I sound like my mom, or, I've just done this thing that was like my dad. So we all take on bits of that. But usually a catalyst is a person who comes into the family line in order to change the energy of that family line, in order to transform it and transmute whatever the egoic impressions have been that have passed down the generations. A catalyst comes in and doesn't quite fit. So as a catalyst, you might have been a person like me who was very sensitive, really highly emotional, who really could tap into other people's emotions, who didn't know why, when I was young, I didn't know why I was emotional a lot of the time. I just was, and I could feel people's stuff. And I didn't really have a good grasp of emotions at that time. My learning as an empath, I believe for all empaths, is to learn how to discern your own emotions. And then you can really help others to navigate their world of emotions. Because as humans, we are emotional beings, and we're trained a lot of the time to come out of the body and to go up into our heads and to get on with life. For those of you who are, big adults now in the world, you will know that you are, as an adult, you're not supposed to, jump about and have fun, do cartwheels down the street, are you? You're just supposed to get up in the morning and do your job and go to work. So as an empath, we are the people who are super sensitive. We can help people to understand their emotions more. That's where we're headed. But as a child, that can be really overwhelming, because the emotions that we're feeling, we don't really know how to distinguish between what's ours, what's other people's. We don't really understand that there's actually guidance within it. Or you might be what is sort of classed in the spiritual world as an indigo. So you might be somebody who struggles with the emotion we call anger. And this emotion might be there in full volume as a child, and you might be a child who has tantrums a lot. You don't want to be told what to do. You want to do your own thing. You know where you're going in life, relatively, right? It's usually in the opposite direction of the other family members. And you might just feel like you don't fit in and no one understands you. Or you might be what's termed as a crystal child. Crystal children tend to be kind of very old for their years. They understand things much more, on a rounded level than maybe an empath would. They're still very highly sensitive. But basically, to me, regardless of whether you believe in indigos or crystal children or rainbow children and all the different terms that are coming up, all this really is like our evolution showing its face. So as a catalyst, you come in to transform and evolve your family conditioning, your family patterns. I absolutely believe we're here to do the work for ourselves, but we're also here to do the work for the family lines. Now, the reason I believe this is because years ago, I did an iboga session. For those of you who don't know what iboga is, sorry, I'm mucking about with my hair because you can just see it looks like it needs washed. So iboga is a plant medicine that comes from Gabon. And I don't believe that we need plant medicines all the time. I just believe sometimes they're a gateway to giving you an insight into the world and into yourself. And what this session showed me was I saw a tree that was standing, and it was very lucid to me. So I could see this tree even though it wasn't right there in front of me. And when I looked at the tree changed to the tree of life. And in the tree of life, there was all these cells. So it was kind of like my eye kind of went right into, the cells in the tree. And they were all red. And as I looked at them, each cell started to change to blue in kind of in a sequence. But the message that came with it was that as the line changes forwards, it also changes backwards. So we effectively change the lives of our children by the changes that happen within us, by the healing that happens within us more specifically. But it also changes backwards because time isn't linear, and by us being our true selves, we actually get to affect change in our families, so our siblings and our parents. And I guess if you looked at it, maybe in quantum physics, it might even affect our grandparents, right? And so on and so forth. That might be a bit too out there for you. But I've seen time and time again that when we start to own ourselves fully, when we start to really grow into adulthood within, not within, but using the superpowers that we naturally have. So like I mentioned, me being a sensitive person, I denied that for such a long time. Not denied the sensitivity, but denied it as a skill. I didn't use it. I just thought it was a curse being an empath. And it really isn't. You know, we have superhero powers within these gifts that we're given. You know, as an indigo, you know, as someone who is very at home with the feeling of anger, it's kind of the opposite from empaths. They can't stand anger. They can't stand it in the body or around them. We're very because we feel it so deeply, it kind of rattles us a lot. But indigos have no problem with anger. And anger is actually an amazing tool when we use it as it was gifted to us. Anger is a directive emotion. It helps you to see whether or not your boundaries are being crossed or not. When something's up, you know, it's going to show up for you. It's going to make you take a stand when there's horrible atrocities happening in the world. But we mistake anger to be rage because that's kind of how we've been trained to view it. When someone's raging out, you know, they've got road rage and they're going crazy. That's kind of how we view anger. That's not anger. Anger is supposed to be used on the planet as an effective tool to make positive change. That's what it's supposed to be. So any of you indigos out there who struggle with anger, that's where you're going. You won't feel like that when you're young, and you might struggle with it as you get older, but that's where you're going to. You're going to become this leader that makes changes by using this fire that you have within you. That's what anger is. It's fire when it comes to elements. Empaths are mostly, there's empaths of all different kinds. I still call indigos a kind of empath. I talk about elemental empaths. So there's water, earth, fire, and air. And usually the kind of empaths that we talk about are water and air empaths, which I guess I'm more of. But indigos tend to hold the fire part. Crystal children are kind of mixed bag, really, but they're kind of more air as well, kind of air and light. Anyway, kind of going on a different topic. But what I'm trying to say is that for those of you out there who are born into families where you feel like you don't fit, you are a catalyst. You might struggle with not fitting in. You might not understand why you've got these parents who don't understand you or why they neglected you, why there was abuse in your world. My personal belief is that when you're a catalyst, you come in with these hardships going on and you are the one that has the ability, whether or not you want this, but has the ability to step forward and truly make change in that family. But the mistake that most of us are making is we're fighting against it. So we're fighting against the superpowers that we have. We're fighting against the emotions that we have. We're fighting against the fact that our families don't understand us. We're fighting to fit in, or we're fighting to run away. And that's a huge mistake because we then miss where the healing needs to happen, what's required to happen for us to actually grow into our full selves. When we actually step into the healing and we look at our families and our lives like we are the healers that have come here to do this work, and we look at ourselves and we simply look at the conditioning that we've taken on, this is where the healing comes from. It's not about looking at our families and trying to fix them. It's not about trying to heal other people in our families before we've healed ourselves. It's about us looking at ourselves and the conditioning that we've taken on from the families and doing it that way. I'm not sure if I lost you because my signal has cut off. I think it's died on me. Sorry, people. I'm not sure. But anyway, I will try and finish off just in case you're all still there. So for those of you who are feeling a bit stuck, and you might be an empath, an indigo, or a crystal child, or you might not have a clue what you are,